On a single night in May 2015, a telescope in the mountains of Russia recorded a burst of radio energy so powerful that for it to come from another civilization, that civilization would have to harness the output of an entire star. And it came from the direction of a star almost identical to our own sun. Then it was gone. It never repeated. And to this day, no one can say for certain what sent it. This is the story of HD 164595, a quiet, unremarkable star, 94 light-years from Earth, close enough in cosmic terms to feel like a neighbor, far enough that nothing we have ever built could ever reach it. To the eye, it is nothing special, a yellow dwarf, slightly older than the Sun, drifting through the constellation Hercules. Around it, astronomers had already found at least one planet, a warm world larger than Neptune, a system that looked, from a distance, almost familiar. And then, one night, it spoke. The signal was caught by Ratan 600, a sprawling ring of antennas in the Caucasus Mountains, nearly 600 meters across. It is one of the largest radio telescopes ever made. On the night of May the 15th, it swept across that patch of sky, and it captured a sharp spike of radio energy at a frequency of 11 gigahertz. A clean, strong burst rising out of the cosmic static. The astronomers who saw it did something curious. They did not announce it. They kept it quiet for over a year, studying it, checking it, trying to be sure of what they had, because they knew exactly how it would sound to the rest of the world. When word finally leaked in the summer of 2016, the reaction was electric. Headlines spread across the planet within hours. A strong signal from a sun-like star, detected and analyzed in secret. To many, it sounded like the moment humanity had waited centuries for. But the truth is stranger and more unsettling than a simple answer. Consider the power involved. If that signal had been a deliberate beacon, aimed in every direction at once, broadcasting to the whole galaxy, the energy required would dwarf anything our species could produce. It would mean a civilization able to tap the full power output of its own star, the kind of structure we only describe in theory, a shell of machinery wrapped around a sun. If, instead, the signal had been aimed directly at us, focused like a spotlight straight at the Earth, the power needed would be far smaller. But that raises a colder thought. It would mean someone 94 light-years away already knew we were here and chose to point something at us. Neither possibility is comforting, and yet the deeper scientists looked, the more the certainty began to dissolve. Because a single burst, caught once and never again, is the hardest kind of evidence to trust. The first rule of the search for life among the stars is repetition. A real signal, a true beacon, should be there when you look back. You point your dish at the star again and again, and you confirm it. HD 164595 was watched intensely in the weeks that followed, by instruments in America, by a dedicated array built solely to listen for exactly this kind of whisper. They stared at that star, night after night, and they heard nothing. Silence. The same quiet that had been there before. So what had Ratan 600 actually caught? The most likely answer is also the most ordinary, and in its own way, the most haunting. Our own sky is not empty. It is crowded with machines. Satellites in orbit, leaking radio energy as they pass. Military hardware. Aircraft. The constant electronic chatter of a planet that never stops broadcasting. A telescope listening to the deep cosmos must look out through this fog of our own making. And sometimes a stray reflection, a passing satellite, a burst of interference from much closer to home, can line up perfectly with a distant star and wear its mask for a single moment. The Russian team themselves, in the end, leaned toward this explanation. Terrestrial interference. A ghost, born here on Earth, that only seemed to come from the depths of space. But here's the part that lingers. We cannot prove it. The signal was never recorded in a way that lets us trace it back to a satellite. No object was ever identified crossing that exact spot at that exact instant. The burst exists only as a single line on a single night, a spike of energy that rose and fell and was never explained beyond reasonable doubt. It sits in the records now, neither confirmed nor truly dismissed. A maybe, a shrug across 94 light-years, and the star itself goes on. HD 164595 is still there, exactly where it was, shining with the same gentle light it has given off for billions of years. Its planet still circles, its surface still churns, and whatever caused that single, fleeting burst, whether a piece of our own technology or something far stranger, has never spoken again. Think about the strangeness of that distance for a moment. The light leaving that star tonight will not reach the Earth until well into the next century. If anything were truly there, sending us a message, it would have left before any of us were born. We would be reading a letter from the past, with no way to ever write back in our own lifetimes. The conversation, if there ever was one, would span generations. And so we are left where we so often are when we listen to the sky, with a single moment that meant everything, or nothing at all, a spike on a graph, a star that looks like home, and a silence that has held unbroken ever since. Was it only our own machinery reflected back at us in a cruel coincidence? Or did something, just once, 94 light years away, turn toward us, send a single pulse into the dark, and then fall silent, waiting to see if we would ever notice at all?